Wow, this beef looks amazing. Sorry, my finger is in the way a bit. I couldn't control myself. I just couldn't wait to dig in. I got too excited. From an aesthetics perspective, these may be the most impressive looking dishes I've seen so far in Ho Chi Minh. Normally, when I try Vietnamese food, I go to smaller, more local restaurants. But sometimes you need to try something just a little bit different. And this was well worth the trip and the change from the norm. So let's deep dive into the review of Propaganda Vietnamese Bistro. Alright, before we get started, I would like to thank you guys for your support so far, and if you haven't subscribed yet, it would mean the world to me if you did. It's a good motivator to keep putting out more content. So let's get back to the review. Propaganda Vietnamese Bistro is located in District 1 of Ho Chi Minh City. As usual, the address will be in the description below. Just like any other bistro, this restaurant focuses on the French style of cooking, meaning smaller portions and great presentation. So I arrived at about 9 p.m. The lighting inside is rather dim, but even with that, you can see the vibrant colors of the murals on the wall. It kind of gave the vibe of a Mexican restaurant a bit. The restaurant had both foreigners and Vietnamese customers, so a good mix of everyone. The waitress I had was very friendly, spoke great English, and was able to answer any questions that we may have had. They were playing music inside, but it was low enough to where you can still have a good conversation with your friends, unlike some other restaurants that just have the music blasting in your ear. As we take a look at the menu, I will be very honest with you guys. This place is expensive compared to what you've been seeing from me so far. So if you are a Vietnamese local who isn't well off, I wouldn't recommend this place. Also, if you are a tourist on a budget that is looking to pay local prices for great food, I also wouldn't recommend this place. My entree, which was a beef tenderloin in mixed vegetables with a side of sweet potato fries, was 275K, which comes out to $11.33 USD. That same dish you probably could have gotten for half the price outside of District 1. I understand some people will think $11 for this meal is still a steal considering what you pay for a meal in the US, the UK, or Australia, but when you're looking at it from a Vietnam perspective, it's expensive. But if money isn't a big deal for you, then I recommend this place. They have a nice sized menu with a good variety of food, as you can see. The only other downside besides price is the portion size, but it is a bistro, and bistros are not known for huge portion sizes, so do keep that in mind. Propaganda also has a very extensive alcohol menu. Made me feel like I was in a bar. Again, the prices are a bit high, but when you're serving cocktails, craft beers, Bacardi, and Jack Daniels, you should expect them to be. Again, this isn't a place for someone on a budget. It's for someone looking for something a bit more upscale compared to the local hole in the walls. Lastly, on the menu, they have a nice selection of juices and fruit shakes for those looking for something non-alcoholic. They also have tea or coffee if you like to partake in those when you're having your meals. Propaganda also has a happy hour with an assortment of snacks as well. Now, on to the main event. I had a beef tenderloin and mixed vegetables and sweet potato fries. My friend had fried spring rolls and pho. My beef tenderloin was well seasoned, it had great flavor, and was nice and tender. The vegetables were cooked perfectly, had a nice snap to it, it wasn't mushy at all. The sweet potato fries were nice and crunchy, and I can tell that they were handmade because of the inconsistency of the shape of the fries. So you don't have to worry about frozen food here. The spring rolls were just okay. The issue was the pho, which I didn't try. My friend had the pho. It looked nice, but he said that the broth was good, but the beef had no flavor on its own, so it kind of brings down the whole dish. My dish though gets high marks, but admittedly I felt hungry afterwards because of the portion size. So if choosing to dine here, it's one thing to consider. The place does seem like you need a 3-course meal to be satisfied. And with that said, I also ordered mango wasiki rice. It came with warm cream, and I have to tell you, I've had this dessert a lot in my life, and it's the best one I've had so far. I was pleasantly surprised. The texture of the mango, the sweetness of the cream, everything was on point. To wrap up this review, my food was great, but my friend's food was a bit disappointing, dropping the score a bit. The atmosphere was only okay. It was a bit too dark inside, especially when the street lights near the windows aren't very bright. And lastly, the customer service was great. The waitress was friendly, helpful, and spoke good English. So overall, Propaganda Vietnamese Bistro gets an 8 out of 10. So that concludes this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you again at the next restaurant. Bye for now.